A very good morning. It is the Good Morning Saints fans preview show of our biggest game in many of years. I hope you're as excited as I am. I don't feel as nervous as I thought I was going to feel, but we are on the eve of the playoff championship final at Wembley tomorrow. I've got this special show that I'm going to bring to you on YouTube, and I've got some very, very special guests that are going to be joining me this morning. I'm going to bring in my co-host who's going to host the show with me this morning, Rusty SFC. He's a very good friend of mine. He's going to come in and talk all things Southampton Leeds. And we're also going to have some very special guests throughout the morning as well. Our first guest will be on very, very shortly. Jack is going to join us from the Final Whistle, Rusty, as well. He's going to preview a bit of the game tomorrow, get his thoughts as a neutral, and then we've got some Southampton fans dropping in throughout the next hour and sort of 15 minutes on Good Morning Saints fans. Rusty, how are you?
I am very, very well, actually. I am very, very well. I'm very excited. I can almost not contain myself at the moment. I've got all this energy that's just building up inside me that I need to get out, and I'm not sure how to do that yet.
Yeah, I'm super, super buzzing for it. Right, our first guest has just joined backstage. Let's get him in. Let's
Excellent.
talk to him, Rusty. He's a neutral. I've worked with Jack on a prediction show on his own channel called The
Yeah.
Final Whistle. We do predictions on pretty much every game of the championship season. He's got unbelievable championship knowledge. So first guest this morning is Jack from The Final Whistle. Jack, let everybody know where they can find you, mate. Thanks for joining us this morning.
No, appreciate it. Yeah, go check me out at the Final Whistle. We do championship content. We'll obviously do Premier League next season. Yeah, go check us out. I try and be as neutral as possible and yeah, just say football as it is, as I see it. So yeah, it's good.
Jack, you're an absolute superstar. So thank you for coming on today. How does it feel to be a Premier League team once again?
Good. The target was to get back to the Premier League at the first time of asking. We did that, and yeah, the Championship. It's been a well-winded season, hasn't it? You know, it's been an experience for sure, and yeah, I fully enjoyed it, Martin. To be honest, the Championship. You go to different grounds, and yeah, it's good. You don't have to worry
Yeah.
about VAR.
No,
Yeah.
talking about VAR though, it's back tomorrow, unfortunately, for the playoff final. I'm not quite sure how I feel about it. Russell spoke about it in the press yesterday. He wasn't really sure how he feels about it neither. It's not been used all season in the championship. They're going to throw it in for the final. Get both your thoughts on that. The VAR being used tomorrow.
It is a strange. It feels a strange decision for it to just be
Mm.
for that one-off game. It does feel a strange decision, but look, VAR sadly is a part of football now. Whether we like it or not, they've had an opportunity to get it removed, and it seems Premier League clubs want it for whatever reason. I'm not its biggest fan, but we're going to have to just deal with it. And I don't know how much it will affect the game tomorrow. I think when you've got VAR in a game, people play a different way. I think because VAR can buy you an extra offside or an extra free kick somewhere or something, you know. So I think people treat it a little bit different. We haven't had that luxury all season, so I just feel we'll go through the motions, and VAR will just get involved if something happens, I suppose.
Yeah, Jack, what's your thoughts on it? VAR comes in for the playoff final, the biggest game, the richest game in British football. They reckon it's worth about £140 million tomorrow. Could rise to 165 if you can stay in the division.
Yeah, I'm not really a fan of the playoffs, I will admit. Not the playoffs, VAR. Yeah, VAR is not my biggest purpose when it comes to football, but it is what it is. It's there. It's the playoffs is yeah, one of the biggest prizes in English football, and yeah, I enjoy watching the playoffs. You know what I mean? When it's the end of the season, and I enjoy like just watching football as a neutral. To be fair, and yeah, the playoffs it's a competitive game in it, and tomorrow you've got two of the biggest sides in the championship going at it tomorrow, aren't you? In Leeds and Southampton, and yeah, what a game you've got on your hands, Martin. You've got Armstrong versus Somerville.
Yeah, I know. I am. I'm glad I've got you on as a neutral. I thought, well, my first guest today, I've got loads of Southampton fans joining us this morning. And I thought, Rusty, let's get a neutral in to kick things off because
Yeah,
Jack's watched loads of Championship. Feel free to talk to Jack, ask him whatever you want. What his
I
thoughts
do
are on the
have
game
one
tomorrow. So
question for Jack, and it's a
go for
Leicester
it.
related
Take the
question.
floor.
Maresca to Chelsea, thoughts?
No comment.
It's an
No
I'm
interesting
not
comment.
one,
convinced
isn't
to
it?
go there somehow.
Yeah. It's an interesting topic in it. Obviously, when you seem to do well at a club, obviously teams are going to be there, aren't they, to admire your manager and stuff like that. Obviously, Kieran McKenna's another one who's got 2 back-to-back promotions of Ipswich, Chelsea, and Man United, and Brighton admire his work. And Enzo, for me, is it too early for him to join like a big team at this meeting time? Yes, in my opinion. I think he's still learning. I think he can still build things at Leicester. I mean, Chelsea's record at the minute regarding managers, 4 head coaches in the last 2 years says a lot that you're not really lasting long at that football club. So
Yeah,
you got a chance of staying at Leicester and building something. And I think with Chelsea, like I said, the money's there for obviously whoever the coach is next. And obviously Enzo can develop that Chelsea team, to be fair. And if he goes, then you just got to find the right man to bring in. But I hope Enzo stays. But yeah, it's one of them at the minute where you don't want to lose your manager at all, do you, to any team?
for sure, for sure. My only
You've got
thoughts on the
two
situation
promoted
are
clubs as well.
Yeah.
There's 2
yes,
promoted clubs all have managers having other clubs after them, McKenna, and then you got Maresca as well. It's
and
bizarre, isn't it?
for me, I think that's the key point, right? Because I won't keep talking about Leicester and management. We're here to talk about the final, but both McKenna and Maresca moving, I think career-wise for them probably makes sense right now, because if both of them are to be relegated, for argument's sake, it will definitely damage their credentials. So, like, is the time to move now while you're still like a hot property? It's a very fine, very, very fine line, I think, between with them both. But yeah, it's going to be interesting this summer, I think.
Yeah,
It
it
is
is.
going to be very, very interesting. Then you could have Russell Martin at Southampton with interest from Brighton, Hove Albion as well. So all, if Southampton go up, they could have a manager, all sorts. And they're talking about Leeds. They're talking about Daniel Farke. They're talking about the game tomorrow. That we're talking about managers. There's a bit of talk actually that Daniel Farke will be sacked if they don't win tomorrow. There's a few
Wow.
rumours circulating that. Don't know how. There's a massive
It's
pressure on
very
Leeds,
rude.
I would say, tomorrow.
It's very rude to bring
Yeah,
that up before for those rumours to start before a game's even
It
been
is.
played. That's very rude.
it it is. It's very strange that that's been circling. But there's big pressure on Leeds. Southampton come in. I'm going to pop in our next guest down in the bottom right hand corner. I just feel that there's a lot of pressure on Leeds tomorrow. I just think that they seem the favourites. At the moment, Jack, don't they? All the bookies have got Leeds as the favourite. Southampton have beaten them twice in the regular season, put 5 goals past them, dominated both games, but they go in as underdogs and fairly big underdogs actually. What are your thoughts on the game, Jack, as a neutral tomorrow?
Like I say, it's a big game. Two of the best sides in the Championship. Leeds have a fantastic squad, don't they? Somerville, Rutter, them sort of players, Archie Gray, Ethan Ampadu. Leeds have got players who can hurt you and who can really turn up in big games like this. I mean, Norwich didn't really turn up at Ellen Road, did they? To be fair, I thought Leeds were good in that game. Though, to be fair, I thought they really took control of that game, and that's something Southampton will have to stop Leeds from doing tomorrow in the playoff final. To be fair, I mean, Southampton back-to-back wins this season against Leeds. You've obviously got Armstrong, you've got Adams, you've got Aribo, you've got Smallbone, and Flynn Downs is another key player for Southampton. Flynn Downs, I think he's had a fantastic season at Southampton. It's whose best players are going to turn up on the day, and this is going to be key to each side. And the most important thing tomorrow is who's going to score that first goal, because I think that first goal is going to be key tomorrow to who could go on and win that game for me.
I do. Brandon, thank you for joining the show, mate. Hope that you're well, mate. We're talking about mental strength, and I've got a good interview actually to bring later on this morning from Joe Tessam, but it will be about who's mentally really switched on. We've all played the right amount of games now, haven't we? Everybody's up to fitness, everyone's up to speed. It's just how you deal with the occasion, Brandon, tomorrow.
Yeah, well and truly, let's be honest, we're going in. I think after doing the double over Leeds, we're basically going back into square one. I think we've got to forget that, put that aside. Wembley's a completely different occasion. And at the end of the day, I totally agree with Jack, really. I think the first goal kind of sets off how the game's really played. And I think if we can get that first goal, it'll be good for us, really, well and truly.
Yeah, I think first goal's key, Rusty, tomorrow. It's going to be absolutely crucial. Big pitch.
Yeah.
They say when you're chasing a game, it's not particularly nice to play on at times. But when you're in the lead and you're on top of it, it can be a great place to beat at Russell Martin.
Yeah. So personally, I think Leeds will be doing a lot of chasing. I really do. I think he's going to set up very much the way he has done the last couple of games. He's going to play with that extra defender, I believe, to really fill out that midfield. And he's going to. I think if we come away with, and I know football's not a possession-based game before anyone says anything, but if we can come around, if we can have somewhere around sort of a high 50, low 60% possession, Liverpool are going to be Leeds are going to be very, very lethargic towards the end of that game, and I believe we'll have the legs. I really do. I think it's a pitch that suits us, and I think it's a game that going in as underdogs again probably suits us. I think the pressure is off. There's an interesting dynamic between Russell Martin and Daniel Farke. And Russell Martin really enjoys getting one over on him. That's just a fact. He really enjoys it. So yeah, I'm just excited to go to Wembley, be in that atmosphere, and watch my team in what is the biggest game in its history for some time, and just enjoy the experience. That's really where I'm at.
Jack, as a neutral, how do you see it unravelling between Leeds and Southampton tomorrow? Who do you think will edge it? Do you have a gut feeling, or do you just think it's such a 50-50 game?
How brave is Jack today? How brave?
Yeah, they finished like a point, point apart. Not much to call between the two sides. Southampton had a really good run of 25 games unbeaten in the middle of it. Leeds have had runs where they've been absolutely outstanding, but then they've been absolutely woeful in some of the games that they've played in. So I think it's hard to call. I'm not going to do a prediction for this one. I don't know about you, Jack, as a neutral, whether you've got a feeling where this game will go.
This one's a tough game to call, to be fair, Martin. If I said Southampton, then because I'm on a Southampton sort of show, then it looked like I'm biased, wouldn't it? To be fair, if I said it on a Leeds platform, I'd look biased again to Southampton fans.
For sure.
No, I think it'll be a good game between the two sides. I think both teams will give it their best go tomorrow. I think that's what you've got to do. How do I see this one going between the two? Who's got that clinical edge? I mean, Leeds, is it they haven't won their last 6 playoff matches they haven't won in the last 6 playoffs. So, Leeds ain't got the greatest playoff record, and Southampton will know that going into the game. I think it'll be a close game, to be honest. And I think it. Do you know what? I think it could go to penalties.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah. Leeds haven't got a great record in playoffs, but Brandon, I was looking at Southampton's record at Wembley, and Southampton have lost 8 of their previous 10 matches at Wembley Stadium. Would you win at Wembley at some stage? Will it come tomorrow? That's the big question.
Yeah, at the end of the day, Wembley hasn't been that lucky with us, well and truly, but let's be honest, the season we've had, I've always said to go unbeaten for as long as we have. I think we should go into that and go, this is what we want, this is what we need to do. Because at the end of the day, the players that we've got, if we stay down, there's that risk, isn't there?
Yeah, there's a massive risk.
I think, right,
it'll be super tough.
That Sorry, I think that Russell Martin, what he's done fantastically well this season, and I think I've said it on these shows before, he seems to always mentally be prepared. That side walks out every game exactly where they need to be. Russell Martin has managed expectation really very well. And he's had a Southampton side that at times, as you say, have looked very average. The personnel's not been right, the system set up, whatever, but he always gets the right players in the right mindset to do the job that's needed to be done. Do I think we're going to go and control a game against Leeds? Probably not. No, they're going to have really explosive phases of play where they're going to have us very penned deep. But it's how we play through those phases and how well prepared we are. And that's something Russell Martin has had Southampton doing very well this season, is being just ready. So I'm very excited by it.
I've got some snippets of the press conference to bring in a short while. Jack, before you go, I just want to get your thoughts on the players that Southampton really need to stop Snow. There's some obvious players that they need to stop playing tomorrow to get the result with a big pitch. The likes of Nonto and Somerville could cause Southampton big problems. Who else do you see where the key battles could be tomorrow between Leeds and Saints?
The midfield battle's key in it, to be fair. Archie Gray versus Will Smallbone in there. You've got Flynn Downs against Rutter. You've got the Somervilles versus Inaribos going at it tomorrow, aren't you, on the wings? And then it's whose striker's going to be more clinical tomorrow. See, Bamford's out of the game, isn't he? So it looks like Joel Peru's going to be playing. So it's going to be key all over the pitch, to be fair. Kyle Walker-Peters, I think, he's one of the best fullbacks in the league, to be fair. And I think whoever doesn't win that game tomorrow could lose some real big players this summer transfer window, and which is rightfully so. That shows admiration of how well them players have done for teams to come in for them this season. So, I think it's going to be a real battle between the two sides. Obviously, Leeds, they like to press, don't they? They like to have quite a bit of the ball. And Southampton are one of them sides who, they look good with the ball, don't they, Southampton, when they seem to get it, Martin? They seem to have that sort of press about them. I watched them against West Brom at St Mary's in the second leg, and they looked really good in the game. Yeah,
what did you think of the 2 second legs? Now, obviously, they were both stalemates between Leeds and Norwich in their game. Southampton and West Brom, stalemate, kind of set themselves up for the home ties, didn't they? You obviously watched both. Were you impressed with both sides?
The first legs, they were boring, weren't they? Let's be honest, boring 0-0s. I thought the Leeds game didn't really offer much, to be fair. And then the Southampton game at the Hawthorns, you thought, you know what, there could be goals in this. You know what I mean? You thought you'd see some goals that you never did. I think Leeds and Southampton would have took draws, wouldn't they? To be fair, to take back to St Mary's and Ellen Road, and that's what they did. And the second leg, it prevailed, didn't it? Leeds ended up really winning that game comfortably and convincingly to a poor Norwich side on the night. And Southampton, I thought West Brom did okay in the first half, and then second half, when you sort of got that goal with Will Smallbone, West Brom kind of they had to need a reaction, didn't they? They had to come out, and Southampton took advantage with Armstrong. And now I thought the second legs were really good, to be fair. Quite a lot of goals between them, but it's who now can go and finish their dinner in the playoff final and go and book their place now in this Premier League for next season.
But their place with Leicester, your guys are up, and Ipswich are there. Hopefully we can join you, Jack. Jack, I really appreciate you giving me your time this morning. It's very, very kind of you.
Thanks,
to come
Jack,
on.
mate.
I appreciate it.
I just want to give you a massive shout out at the Final Whistle. Make sure you give Jack a follow over on his YouTube channel and his TikTok as well. We've become very good friends this year. I met some great people this year, and three of them are in a box with me here. So, Jack, you've been amazing to me this year. So thank you for having me on your show. Thank you for your time, mate. You're an absolute superstar, mate.
No, I appreciate it, and all the best for tomorrow. May the best team win.
Jack, thanks, enjoy your weekend. You'll enjoy it more than we will, because you're neutral.
I'm missing the football already, Martin. Come on.
Yeah, I know.
It's rough.
I will catch up in the next few days. Jack, thank you very much indeed, my friend.
Cheers, Jack. Take care, mate.
What a way to start to get a neutral in, says Jack. That was absolutely superb. Right, let's talk about some team news. We have got a snippet that I'm going to bring. I'll probably get banned for putting it on YouTube, but we do have a snippet of the team news from Russell Martin yesterday.
My career too much. It was really average, but I think the players. I think I accepted every feeling I had in that build-up, and I really tried to find some enjoyment from feeling that, because it's such a privilege to play in a game of this magnitude. You can go your whole career as a player not playing in a game like this as a manager. So I feel really grateful again to be in this position at 38 years old at a club like this, to be leading a team out of Wembley. So to accept every feeling you have, if someone wakes up and says, I don't feel nervous on the day of a game, then is not honest, especially of a game like this. So I think to feel it, to embrace it, and to try and embrace it together and accept that. So the way we ask the players to play, there is a level of courage that requires, and to accept the feelings that you have, and accept early on especially there would be some mistakes, and to get through them together. And now they're in a place where they're so brave, so I have no worry about them being vulnerable, being honest with each other about what they're feeling. I woke up on the day feeling calm, and I had done all week in the build up to that, but still nervous. Still really emotional when I saw my family in the crowd in the build up to the game. So yeah, he's back. Ross Stewart's back. So it's only Stu Armstrong and Gavin Bazunu that are out, and Juan Larios, but they've all been long-term injuries. So yeah, we're really
great news. Shay Adams is fit tomorrow. Ross Stewart is available, and he also spoke about his experience in a playoff.
Martin, it really is great news to have Kay. Not from necessarily from a Southampton perspective, but what that little air of doubt that because let's be honest, no centre back really wants to play against Che Adams. He's so horrible. He's just horrible. There's this old school feel about him where you feel like he's one of those like players. He'll give you a little pinch, he gives you a little nut. You know what I mean? He really makes it uncomfortable for you for the whole 90 minutes.
It's brilliant to have Shay available yesterday. I thought it was a brilliant press conference from Russell yesterday. I thought he handled himself really well. I watched a Sky clip it, Brandon, between the two managers. Actually, they showed it on Sky. They were at Leeds at their training ground. They also showed Russell's press conference at Southampton. Actually, the contrast in the two managers was so different. Russell was very much like he was trying to pull upon his experiences and really trying to get everybody in the mindset of the magnitude of this game and how big it is, and how they have to pull upon the nerves that they will be building and the anxiety. Where Daniel Farker, it's another game we know we need to, it was just a slightly different approach to the game.
It was huge. It was huge, wasn't it? The contrast between the two of them was massive.
Quite surprising, I thought.
Yeah, it's definitely quite a contrast, really, well and truly. I mean, Russell Martin was quite right in saying don't let the occasion get in your head, because it can easily get in your head, and that's pretty much the difference between winning and losing at Wembley at the end of the day. And I think he was quite there with his experiences where he's gone, I've done it both ways, and the Wembley is a completely different pitch at the end of the day. And I saw a lot on Twitter about how Leeds believe that the likes of Somerville and is going to have so much fun being on that bigger pitch. But I think, as Rusty said earlier, the way we set up, I think Wembley suits the way we play.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting point. You bring me on nicely, actually. We had the pleasure, the three of us. We saw Adam Blackmore last weekend on the Isle of Wight. He spoke about the pitch, and he also spoke about the threat that Leeds possess with their front three.
I mean, to me, possession is going to be huge because it's a big surface. It's a sapping pitch to play on. And when you keep the ball like Saints, that will help manage their stamina through the game. The biggest worry with Leeds, of course, is it is a big pitch, and that will give Nonto and Somerville plenty of space to play and run, and that's what somehow we've got to stop. I thought Saints were brilliant at snuffing out Johnston and Fellows last night as threats, but they're going to have to come up with a similar plan because Leeds can score freely, and they have a terrific set of forwards, and I think that's the biggest worry.
He's correct in that they do have a fantastic set of forwards, and he's right. It's about how they stop them and snuff them out. He's absolutely correct, isn't he?
I don't know how you feel about him, Martin, but personally, I think Somerville and Nonto, they're quite easily frustrated. And I think having those extra,
let them go to the touchline.
Yeah, I think we saw it. We saw it. I very much saw it in that first leg against Norwich, where Nonto's head was gone, man. Like we're like 20, 30 minutes, his head was gone because he was just being very well singled out. And I think we'll see a little bit. I think we'll see Manning play because I think him matching up against Nonto would be better than putting Fraser in there. And I think we see the same on the other side. I think we see KWP really making it difficult for Somerville, and it will give the freedom of having that extra centre back and the midfielders. That I really feel the game will play into our hands unless we go behind early. I don't know how you feel about it, Brandon, but I do think Nonto and Somerville, it's quite easy to get them off their game.
Yeah, I've noticed that. I'm not sure if that's just due to the fact of their ages, where they're on that younger end, and you can see how quickly, as a young person, you can see how quick their heads turn. And I think on an occasion like this, it could be really easy to get into their heads. And I totally agree with you, really, Rusty. I think we could well and truly get into their heads and maybe pose a lot more of a threat than a lot of Leeds fans think
the mental
that we
side
can
is
do.
huge. The mental side of the game is huge, right? We just got to give a massive shout out to a guest that's just come in. He's all the way from New Zealand. Paul is in the live. He just put a message in my comments box below. How good is that? He's tuning in all the way from New Zealand. He's going to be up at 2 a.m. to watch the game tomorrow morning. We will be cheering Saints on with you, mate. Thank you for joining my show.
What a legend.
Absolute pleasure to have you watching all the way from New Zealand. Just shows the power of YouTube. You can connect with fans of our football club all over the world, which is an absolute privilege. But we spoke to Joe Tessum at the weekend when he was on the Isle of Wight for the Saints Legends game. What a great
Really
guy.
nice lad.
And he told us that the mental side of it is really, really important tomorrow. Here's a snippet of my interview with Joe Tessum.
I hope so. I do think we can do it, but it's the mental thing of the game, not the fitness or anything like that. It's the mental side of it, because it's such a high-pressured game. The expectations are going to be there, and it's at Wembley as well. So for some of these players, this is going to be their first experience with Wembley.
I thought he was absolutely spot on. The mental side of it is absolutely massive, isn't it, guys?
It was a real pleasure to meet, wasn't he? It was a real pleasure. He speaks so well. He's such a Southampton fan, and then that comes across. Yeah, absolutely. It comes across not in his commentary, in his podcast, and even when the camera was turned off and we were having a conversation with him after, it still comes across. Then he is such a fan, but he's so right. He's so right, and I know you feel the same, Martin. He's absolutely right. This is the Russell Martin's mindset's been great.
Yeah, I think it's been good, and it's getting into players, but he can call upon some big players for us. I just think Flynn Downs has been there and done it and played in massive games. Then you look across the back for Kyle Walker-Peters. He's played for England. He's played in some big games for Spurs. He's played at Wembley before. I think Spurs had a couple of seasons there when he was at Spurs. He would be used to playing on that pitch. He know it really, really well. Ross Stewart, we know what Ross Stewart's done. I think we got experience throughout the side as well. Taylor Harbour-Bellis.
Jan Bednarek. Don't forget Yanni Bees. Big games for Poland and stuff. Like he's been there. He's done a lot.
And one man we need to touch upon is Joe Aribo. He's played in a massive final for Rangers as well. So they've been there, seen it, and done it. Some of these boys. I just wonder if that will have an edge tomorrow. Those players that have gone and played in big finals and big games. They always say that experiences in these big games is really important when you go into them.
Yeah, definitely. It's an exciting time. Let's be honest. That's the key. That's the key to all this. They need to have the right. There needs to be the right setup this evening. That's where the game will be won and lost. How they sort of travel today. I imagine they'll travel today and they'll stay somewhere tonight and spend some time together, and maybe do one of those film evenings you see them doing. And just enjoy each other's company and just go through the motions. Because let's be honest. Yes, it's at Wembley. but it is just another game of football. And I think that's what Russell Martin will be trying to drum into him. Yeah, there's a bit more on this game, but you boys have played 40, probably 55 games this season, maybe overall. It's just another game of football, lads. Just go out there and enjoy yourselves.
Yeah, give it everything you've got. Well, Southampton, they've never played in a playoff final before. It's only their second campaign in the playoffs after a semi-final exit on penalties to Derby County in 2007. The Saints last won promotion to the Premier League in 2011-2012 when they finished the Championship as runners-up. It was a pretty special day when we went up at St Mary's, but if they could do it at Wembley Stadium, I was looking back, I was thinking, do you reckon it'd probably be the biggest achievement since 76, would you say? Brandon, if Southampton could go and win tomorrow at Wembley, it'd certainly be the biggest achievement in my lifetime.
Yeah, definitely. I think we were all talking about it the other day that if we do go and do it at Wembley, it is probably one of our biggest achievements, definitely in my lifetime. And as you said, probably in yours as well. And I think if we go and do that, it's a big shift for the club.
Southampton, Rusty, were the only team to do the double over Leeds this season. Does it mean anything going into game tomorrow?
If Daniel Farker or any Leeds player will sit there and tell you that it's not in their heads, they're probably telling you a porky pie, my friend. That's the reality. Leeds were supposed to. This is the reality. I think Ipswich has spoiled a lot of parties for a lot of Leeds fans. I think Leeds probably should have gone up automatically, and that would have been their aim. That would have been Daniel Farker's aim. That would have been the owners. That was it. They were winning the league. They were probably at the beginning of the season. How many people were saying that's the best front four and the best squad in the Championship, but bar none. And Ipswich spoilt that party, and us beating them twice, them not getting all of that will compound. I believe that it'll all of these things. They'll try not to talk about them, but there'll be someone in the back of the room when they're doing a team meeting going, "But yeah, they did beat." Do you know what I mean? That's what it'll be like. It won't go away.
It's been funny listening to all the major pundits over on on the news this week. So you obviously had everybody in and out of Sky, and then you've had Talk Sport. You've had different guests on the shows, and pretty much all of them said, "Yeah, they want Leeds to go back. It's a big club. We want Leeds back. It's Leeds. It's Leeds." So that's a little bit of a side thought. I thought, Brandon, at times this week, everybody wants Leeds to go back. I just see there been a lot more pressure on Leeds and Southampton tomorrow. I almost think just going in as the underdogs is quite a nice thing.
Yeah, I think if you look at it, as Rusty said, you go through the start of the season, I don't think anyone would have predicted Ipswich going up automatically and Leeds in the playoffs. I think they've got a lot more to lose, and I think it is in their heads. As Rusty said, it is in their heads, and at the end of the day, getting into their heads like that before a football game even starts is probably an advantage to us. And I think we've been overlooked this week. I've heard a lot on Talk Sport with the same, with all Leeds going into this, Leeds being the favourites. Even though we did do the double, at the end of the day, the double is enough to also get into their heads. Look, we've played well. I don't know how well they played on both sides. Obviously, when they played us, I don't think they looked like the full Leeds capable team. But at the end of the day, most of the season, I don't think they looked like the Leeds that we expected. And that's automatically what cost them the automatic spots.
Mark's come in with
2 points on that.
Leeds are terrified of losing. He said that they will feel the pressure far more than we will. Interesting comment. I totally agree. Very
2
very
points
well
on what you said there, Brandon. Right, 2 points.
Yeah.
I saw an interview. I can't remember where it was. It might have been the TikTok thing. It might have been, but Leeds were talking about. A Leeds fan was talking about. Sorry, I've completely lost my train of thought. There was something that they said that. Yeah, let's move on. I've completely lost my train of thought. I apologise. It might come back to me in a minute, but it was really interesting to hear it from a Leeds perspective. But I can't remember what it said now.
I totally agree with what Mark said there, though, for sure. Leeds fans terrified of losing this. They will feel the pressure far more than we will. No, I think you're right, actually. And it's a big occasion, big pitch. And, a lot of expectations. Emotions are running high, nervous, excited, confident. And we will play anyone off the park if we turn up. Red and white army, absolutely indeed we will. If we turn up and play like we did against West Bromwich Albion in that second half last week, we will. And let's talk about last week at St Mary's, because probably one of the greatest nights of football that I've ever seen. I've been going to St Mary's since it opened its doors. I went to the Dell a lot as a young kid, and I've never seen anything like I experienced down at St Mary's on Friday night. It was quite incredible by the Southampton fan base. Everybody called for it all week, and they absolutely backed the team massively, Brandon. And I just actually think it got the players over the line. I think it played a massive, massive role, and I don't think it can be underestimated how important our fan base were on Friday night. And I think they're really, really important tomorrow. There'll be a sea of red and white there tomorrow. I believe there's a flag on every single seat tomorrow at Wembley as well.
Yeah, I mean, I saw on Twitter from Fraser how all the players had their phones out recording this monumental moment that we produced on Friday. And as everyone said, the fans are the 12th man. And I believe that doing what we did on Friday, giving the grand entrance, backing that team from 3 hours before kickoff, I think it really made the big difference. And at the end of the day, it was nice to see it. Obviously, from last season with the whole toxic environment, it was nice to see all the fans getting together, all back onto a common ground and supporting our club. And it was nice to see for a change. Obviously, I think if we continue that and we bring that noise that we did at St Mary's with the numbers that we got down at Wembley, I can't see why we can't get them over the edge.
Yeah, no, I totally agree.
There were
thought it was
good
Brandon,
points.
wasn't it?
There were good points. Yeah, you're right. There were good points and bad points on Friday, wasn't there? Like,
Yeah,
there were flash points of not so. Didn't really colour ourselves in glory, you know. Look, the before scenes were incredible.
Yeah,
I thought I was getting there. I thought I was getting there relatively early, and I got there, and it was just all I could see was heads, just heads.
Yeah.
So many heads. I've never seen so many people just like enjoying an experience, and I hope that translates tomorrow as well. I really hope that, like, okay, we're not going to be outside the stands, we're outside the stadium with flares and singing and stuff, but I hope that togetherness can be translated, because we're going to need it tomorrow. Leeds are going to come and have a go. They're not going to. You're right about the pressure, but they're going to come and have a real go, and it's going to be how both teams manage that pressure and feed off of their fans, because let's be honest, guys, Leeds are going to be noisy, unless the nerves get to the fans too. Leeds are going to be loud, very loud.
Good one from Michael Brown in the comments chat. Michael, thank you for tuning into the show this morning. Good morning, Saints fans. Any relegated club from the Premier League needs to go up. First time of asking. Southampton and Leeds both need promotion. Ipswich were the party spoilers. Absolutely they were. And we will be back in the Championship 25-26. No, I think he's right. I think it's vital tomorrow. When you look at the figures that are thrown around in the press about tomorrow's game, it's worth around about £140 million over the next 3 seasons if you can get promoted. That can rise to 265 over 5 years if the club avoids relegation in the first season. Henrik Kraft of Southampton, chairman, spoke about it yesterday, spoke about the season actually, and spoke about getting back to the Premier League. And obviously it's the aim, and financially it would be massive for the football club. He also did say, actually, we'll touch upon it in a minute, but he did back the manager yesterday as well, which I thought was brilliant. He came out and said that no matter what happens at Wembley tomorrow, Russell Martin will remain the Southampton manager next season, no matter what happens, which I thought was good that they've come out and back their man.
I have a weird mixed feeling about that, Martin. I really do. Like, there are times this season where I've been like fully like Martin's the man. And there have been times this season where I've been fully like, I want anyone else. It's been a real roller coaster of a season. Yeah. And it's a strange thing to say because we've been very good. But there are times where you just, it's just, you just want him to do something different. And it just never really materialized. And it wasn't really until the final day of the season against Leeds where I kind of went, yeah, I'm in. I'm all in. Russell Martin's the guy. I don't know how you feel, Brandon, because he has some wonderful qualities, He really does. He talks very well. The players really support him. The fans have got behind him. I've never seen fans really turn on him this year. Not really. And the club seem to really support him. So how is it that he can be so abrasive and divisive? How can people be so on the fence about him?
I think he's a people's manager, well and truly. I think he's a breath of fresh air from last season, and the way he presents himself in any high-pressured game of any significance, like even this week with the Wembley talk, you're seeing him talk about his experiences, the nerves, and I think it's more close to home for him being a younger manager. And I think he really connects to the team and also the fans a lot easier. I don't know if that's mainly due to the age, where he's on that younger side. But I'm the same with you, really. I've had half a season where we went on this unbeaten run. I said, Russell Martin's the guy. And then we go down the route of losing 4. And I'm thinking, okay, the games where we need to pick up the points, it hasn't really been happening. But I think it comes back to January, doesn't it, Martin, where we spoke to the Swansea fans, where they said we would have a 50-50, wouldn't we? We'd have a really good half of the season and then an average second half of the season.
Yeah, very inconsistent, they were saying when we went down there.
Yeah.
That, he can go through runs where they'd be really good and then just have moments where they just couldn't buy a win. It's probably been the case, actually, other than the 25 games unbeaten. Good one here, actually. Let me just come back to this comment. Should Southampton gain promotion do you think the chance of remaining in the Premier League for the long term? Well, that's definitely the ownership's plan, yes.
It's a very difficult one, isn't it? You look at the 3 teams that went up
two.
last year, and they weren't all terrible sides, but they just couldn't get it going. The Premier League, the gap between Championship and Premier League, that gulf is vast, really vast. Yeah.
It is massive. I did speak to Phil Parsons briefly at the weekend off camera, and he said no matter what happens, if you go to the Premier League, it will be really, really tough. It's tough to compete, and if we stay down, it'll be even harder. So either way, it's going to be tough for the football club next year. I think they I think they will have people wanting their manager. I don't think there's any doubt about it. I think there's clubs that are going to see there's going to be a managerial merry-go-round, and we just got to hope that we get promotion. I think if we don't go up, I think there'll be clubs sniffing around Russell. I believe Brighton will be one of those. I might be totally wrong. I've not been told that by anyone official, but I just have this feeling there'll be clubs sniffing around him. I think no matter what anyone says, he's done a really good job this year. I've enjoyed him being our manager. I think if you look at where we were this time a year ago as a football club, it was pretty broken, wasn't it? Yeah, we were in the mud. The fan base is quite broken. Nobody liked each other. We're going to lose a lot of players. We lost our club captain in James Ward-Prowse. Lavia goes to Chelsea. Livramento, a young up-and-coming player we didn't expect to lose. We lost, but he managed to come in and unbelievably kept some really good players in our squad. Kyle Walker-Peters, Jan Bednarek, is worth his weight in gold keeping those players. To give us a year in the Championship, Brandon, I think it's quite incredible that he was able to come in and do that, because can't take it for granted. Kyle Walker-Peters would have had a lot of people knocking at his door last summer.
Well, he brought it up, didn't he, in the conference with Leicester, how he said, I don't know how they did it with the losings of players, ins and outs. And he said, and he did mention that he had a bit of a tough time, and the fact that we've got into this playoff position he considers as a really good result, all things considered, at the start of the season, changing that dressing room, and he managed to do it fairly quickly, and the results prove that when we went on that unbeaten run. And obviously I can't overlook that the unbeaten run was probably one of the best parts of the Championship this season, and win or lose tomorrow, I think we've got to respect Russell Martin and what he's done this season for us.
Yeah, final game. Southampton played in the first game in the Championship this season against Sheffield Wednesday on a Friday night. So they opened the season.
Doesn't that feel like such a long time ago, boys?
And they're going to close the Championship season tomorrow. A 49-game grilling season. It's been quite the ask of everybody, including the supporters, who have been absolutely immense. I know there's quite a few tuning in this morning, and there'll be loads watching on catch up. From a Southampton fan that's been going many years, you guys have been absolutely incredible this season. So I just think you're amazing people, and give it everything you've got tomorrow at Wembley, because once again we can be the 12th man. And you can say for many years we haven't been.
It's a very wonderful, wonderful time to be a Saints fan. Whatever happens, guys, this is what you need to remember, right? Promotion or not, we have to remember that we were broken. We were very fractured as a club, as a fan base, and we've found something again this season that
We have.
if we can hold on to that. We'll probably lose a few. There's no two ways about it. But if we can hold on to those core principles and that togetherness and that love for our football club again, it won't be long. It won't take an awful long time. But anyway, let's not worry about what the ifs and the buts. Let's just enjoy the fact that we're going to Wembley tomorrow, lads. We're going to sit in that monster of a stadium and watch our team go and potentially do something wonderful. And that for me is the thing that just shines above everything else that could potentially happen. It's going to be wonderful.
Yeah,
Let's enjoy the day.
When Southampton gain promotion, will they take up the option to sign their loan players? Well, absolutely. That's what Russell said in his press conference yesterday, that he's desperate for us to go up because he wants to try and keep the group together. And that would include Taylor Harwood-Bellis, who will have interest, I think, even if we go up. But I think we've got an obligation to buy him if we go up. Flynn Downs, look, Jolien Lopetegui's gone into West Ham. I'm sure he want to have a look at him. There's no doubt about it. But there was rumours that we're open to selling him. I think he
on a side note,
for a period of time.
On a side note to West Ham, with Paqueta being charged for there's a big open door for Flynn Downs there potentially. So
there's a good point.
That's something to watch out for, I think. Yeah,
it does worry me well and truly.
All of those players that have been here on loan at various points this season have come out and said in various interviews how much they don't want to go back in many ways. Maybe not in as many words, but they've all very much said, this is somewhere I'd really like to play a lot of football.
Yeah.
THB's done it. Flynn Downs has done the same. Fraser did it. He was here about a week. And he's like, I love it. I love being here. But
they've got a good culture. Listen, they've got a really good culture, haven't they, in the dressing room?
It does feel that, doesn't it?
Club. Yeah, it does.
But Martin, you've benefited from it this season as a content creator and stuff, and the way that Russell Martin has brought the fan base together. So, do you think that you'd have had? Do you think you'd have had as good a season, if you like, as you have had if it was someone else and we were still very broken and with that fractured fan base?
Yeah, it would almost. Funny enough, it's a really good question actually. I was thinking about it a little bit yesterday about the season, like a debut season making content. Really, I've always been on X, but never really made anything. And what a season to start off in. I think my first game, I pulled a microphone out and thought, wow, I started getting some fan reaction. I've wanted to do it for a period of time. I did it against Leeds at home. Actually, it's the first game I did it. So I started doing fan reaction against Leeds, and the final game of the season is against Leeds. So it's been quite the story, really. I don't think it would have been quite as easy as it has been if it had been a season when we struggled. I think last season it was so toxic. To get any fan reaction out of people would have been really, really difficult. But we've ridden a bit of a wave, and we documented pretty much every moment. Brandon, you were there right at the start when we started to piece all this together, and people like you guys, if it isn't for you, it doesn't happen. It's as simple as that. Brandon's been a massive part behind the scenes with me this year. He's come on camera a lot. Rusty, we met you midway through the season. You come on a lot, and I've actually met some really, really wonderful people from doing it. So first and foremost, I've made friends for a lifetime. So it's been quite incredible. It's been quite the journey. I've loved every second of it.
And taking more selfies than most of the Saints players, I think, as well this season.
We've had some moments. It's bizarre. James Beattie said to me last weekend, the selfie's the new autograph. And
it's true.
That's what it is.
I tell you what, I love meeting up with you guys before a game and stuff like that. But you try and have a conversation with Martin before the game about football, you can't do it anymore. Yeah. Unless the camera's in your face. Unless the camera's in your face and the microphone is, you can't have a conversation with him. You get a sentence out and then gets mobbed. The West Brom game was my favourite because there was literally like 5 or 6 lads while you were doing the West Brom interview, literally singing chants about Martin, like singing Football Martin chants. It was brilliant. It was so funny.
TikTok changed my life this year. That's one thing that has happened this year. I started TikToking. I think it was about June, July, doing some transfer stories. I think I just saw it, give it a go. I think my dad kept saying, "You need to go on TikTok, man." I was like, "Nah, that's rubbish." But
Your dad's a legend as well, to be fair.
Changed my life. Just changed my life.
He's your biggest fan, Martin. Your dad is your biggest fan.
Yeah,
He
he
follows
is,
you
yeah.
around and just takes photos of everything. He loves it, mate. He loves it.
Yeah, hopefully, it's something I've always wanted to do is get behind the camera and talk. I used to talk about goalie gloves back in the day. It was all about goalkeeping gloves, and now I get to talk about my passion, which is Southampton. And to be fair, it's easy to. There's a few negative people around, but there's so many more great people than there is negative people. Brandon, it's been quite the experience, hasn't it? To be fair.
Yeah, you just see it from where the season started, as you said, to now. It's just amazing. I think the season that we've had in general, I think, has made the
amazing.
channel. And I think if you did it last season, I don't think we'd have got the same interaction, if I'm being totally honest. But it's been
we would have
amazing.
never got it off the ground, would we? But
Yeah.
guys,
Well-
you two have been amazing. So thank you for everything this year.
No worries, man. I've appreciated your support too. I mean, bringing me in to do stuff like this is always or it helps me. It helps my personal journey. So yeah, I really appreciate it.
Yeah, we're all on our little journeys, aren't we? Away days have been amazing, haven't they? We've had some great away days. Most part have been excellent. Hull, Brum, Millwall, QPR. Oh yeah, that's amazing. Just before you go, guys, if you could pull out I'll tell you what, give me your top 3 moments. I'll start with you, Rusty. Top 3 moments this season.
Joe Rothwell's
Guys, get in the
goal.
comments box below as well. Get in the comments box. Top 3.
Joe Rothwell's volley against Huddersfield. Because
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen a more technically sound,
Class.
brilliant goal in the flesh, live with my own eyes in a stadium.
Yeah.
I don't think I may never do again. That was an absolute thing of beauty. I think I actually, I know it's a weird thing to say. I did my first away game ever in my life this season as well. So that was a big moment for me on a personal note. And I think other than that, I actually think, again, another really poor one, I guess. This season was my first year being a season ticket holder and being able to attend as much football as I have. And I've always loved my football club, but I really felt it really made me feel like I was part of my football club for the first time probably ever. So yeah, probably 3 quite poor best moments, but they were all real personal things for me.
Yeah. What about you, Brandon? When you look back, you've travelled a lot this year. A lot.
Yeah. Do you know what? I think the best one must have been away day was Swansea when we did the 21
special,
unbeaten. That was probably one of the best days. I don't know about you, from away games this season. It just felt, this is it. This is it. We're doing this. We're having this, and it was nice. And it was just the fact. I think it was I think it was where we were seated as well. We kind of met a few of the players' families, didn't we? And they were all quite nice people, and it was.
They were all in front of us. That was brilliant.
Yeah, so that was really good.
Swansea's in there. What's 2? What?
I still think the Rothwell goal was my highlight, coming back from Huddersfield going. I think it was the Huddersfield game where we go down and we come back, and it was just something else. I think it was a big change from last season. I thought it showed that we had a bit of fight in us, really, well and truly. And the third, there's been so much this season. It's quite hard to pick out something, well and truly. I mean, obviously, I was gutted about Birmingham. I wish I was there for the Aribo last-minute winner. But yeah, it's really hard to pick out a third. What about you, Martin?
In order, I've just been thinking about this while you've been talking. I've been looking at a couple of the comments in the comments.
Yeah, it's
box,
not fair that you had extra time than we did.
Yeah, I've had a bit of time to think about it, actually. So I'm trying to think. For me, in third place is either, well, I know my number 1 moment, the start at the top.
Yep.
So my top moment was St Mary's on Friday night. I just think the game, just that when the goal went in, the first goal went in from Will Smallbone, I think it was probably one of the best moments of the season for me. I thought it was absolutely immense. And and everything about the day. So that's number one for me. Number two, I think I'd have to go with Rothwell's goal against Huddersfield. It was a brilliant moment, and the comeback and everything about that game was just immense. And my third favourite moment, it was a special away day. I've done more away days this year than I've ever done. It was Joe Aribo's 96-minute winner at Birmingham. It was absolutely immense. It was cold. It was snowing. We're in that beautiful white and teal kit. And Joe Aribo had not long been back from AFCON, and we were delighted to see him. And he sneaked up, and I just thought we're gonna walk out of there with a draw that day. We nearly got beaten, but Joe Aribo was amazing when he came on. So that's my three top moments.
It's been a good year across the board. That Gazza's comment is, but Huddersfield at home was amazing.
Yeah, it was
but
great.
I just want to make a point about Friday, right? Like I have never heard St Mary's be so loud that could anybody hear the tannoy when goals went in?
No.
Did you hear how muted and muffled it was? It was like the PA system had been switched off. Like you couldn't hear a thing. The music was playing. I only knew because everyone was going mental. But like the noise was something else. It was incredible on Friday.
It was amazing. It was absolutely incredible. It's a final preview show, guys, of the season. I've not done many of these, but we'll do more next season. We'll set something slightly different up, but we'll do more.
We're going to do some England stuff, Martin. Right? We're going to do some. We're going to try and cover some England games.
We got the Euros, so we'll get all over the Euros. Good morning, Saints fans. It's coming to an end. I've quite enjoyed doing this. It's quite a cool little idea I had in my head this week. I just thought, well, come on, we'll interact with some fans. I've supported Saints 50 years. Never, ever heard anything like I did last Friday.
It was amazing, Mark, wasn't it? Absolutely amazing.
The late goals. How I would love a late goal tomorrow. We all would. Right, guys.
No, I don't know. No. I don't want a late goal. I want to get it done and celebrate. That's what I want to do.
90. No pressure. No stress of the additional time and penalties. I want it done in the 90.
Yeah,
I totally agree with you, Rusty. No last-minute winners.
I don't think my heart can take it, Brandon. I don't think I can take another one, mate.
No.
I would definitely cover the Euros. Absolutely going to cover the Euros. Hopefully get a win. Oh, mate, thank you, Scott.
Thank you,
You're
Scott.
a good supporter of us as well, so thank you.
Right, before we do go,
enjoy your Saturday. What are you going to do for your Saturday? How are you going to deal with Saturday and your nerves? What are you going to do to fill your days? What's on the agenda?
It's my mum's birthday today, so I'm going to go and see my mum in a bit, have a cup of coffee, and other than that, mate, Tesco's have got a nice offer on. Tesco's got a nice offer on beer, so I've bought many beer, and I'm just going to try and drink until tomorrow morning and see what happens. I think. Try and forget about it.
Yeah. What about you, Brandon? How are you going to spend your Saturday?
Do you know I'm still going to watch the FA Cup final?
Oh, it's FA Cup.
I think I probably will. Yeah.
I think I still have to put that on as a mutual. I think it's just nice to watch something like that in a Wembley occasion when we're there on Sunday.
On that note, City or United, boys? What are we thinking? Just a quick one.
City win it.
Bear in mind, we are going to be in the winning end, so let Man City win it. We go and have that good aura on Wembley.
I like your thinking there.
And then we go into it.
Before we do go, Martin, where can people find you tomorrow? I'm going to try and find you. It's going to be tough. There's a lot of bodies going to be kicking around, but where can people find you?
Well, my plan
what are your plans?
Prior to going into this was to create like a really short little video, put on TikTok, and just let everyone know my location. I'm not overly sure the internet is great at Wembley because I popped into the HE shop in the local town this week and they said to me, oh yeah, the 5G is not that great there. Because I was going to buy a SIM card especially for the occasion, but I've biffed that idea off.
Well, I'm thinking that they're sponsored by EE, right? Wembley's sponsored by EE. I'm with EE. Hopefully it should be better.
Should get 5G. So the plan is to get to Wembley Way around about 1:30 and spend a bit of time on Wembley Way, probably the top of Wembley Way, because I think the fan zone's in and around the right-hand side as you go up a Wembley Way, Olympic Way. So the plan is to sort of like between 1 and 2 to kind of walk up Wembley Way and sort of be outside probably the fan zone. I don't think I'll get in the fan zone, so I'll look to mill around there. That's my plan. So if anyone's looking to come and find us tomorrow, that's where I'm going to aim to be, near that fan zone. I just don't think I'm going to get there. I'm travelling with Brandon. We're going up via a minibus. We're parking at Wilston FC. So if anyone's going to Wilston FC tomorrow, we're going to be there for an hour before. I think we'll probably be there about 11, half 11, and then we're going to travel into London, into Wembley via the tube. So I'm quite looking forward to doing the tube element of things.
The tube's going to be the atmosphere, isn't it? Going to Wembley Way.
Let's get to Wembley Way. It's pretty cool. Yeah, Rusty, how are you travelling? How are you getting there? What's your route?
9 a.m. tomorrow morning. I shall be sat on a coach with Nick's away days.
Oh man, yeah, legend.
Yeah, I've travelled with him all season, mate. He just does offer a really good service, and I believe that the plan is to get on the coach and drive straight through without stopping tomorrow, just to get there. I think. But I'm very excited. I've got wonderful seats. I'm in like block 133, right behind the goal. I'm in a great spot, and I'm really happy. I'm very grateful for my season ticket and my away trips, because it allowed me to get a really good spot tomorrow. And I'm taking my son, who's you've all met, who you've seen on Martin's channel a couple of times, and he's a little bit beside himself. I think he's giddy with excitement and joy. Yeah, I can't wait, mate.
Do you know what? I feel the calmest I've felt about a big game in a long time. Like I don't, maybe it's an age thing, I don't know. I just feel really calm about tomorrow. I have a nice feeling inside, which I don't often have about Southampton going into a big game. I just feel quite calm about it, and hopefully feel like that. I'm going to go do a whole bar shift now in a bar for the next 6-7 hours. So hopefully by the end of it, I'll be can then start winding myself up. Right, guys, it's been an absolute pleasure. I must go and have some breakfast and kickstart the day. Thank you for joining me.
Since this is the last one, guys, I just want to say a big round of applause to Martin for this season. He's done fantastic things for this football club. He really has. You can speak to people around you speak to, like, when we met Adam Blackmore and stuff. Adam Blackmore spoke to Martin like they were friends, like old friends. They've met, they've had conversations. It's very humbling to be around someone like Martin and the way he goes about his business. So yeah, guys, continue to help with that growth. Really do help. It's wonderful.
Make sure you give Rusty a follow at Rusty SFC. He's a TikToker. We'll be all over the Euros content as well this summer. Brandon, where can people find you as well? You do a bit of social media as well. What's your handle? Where can we find you?
Brandon's everywhere, mate.
Yeah,
everywhere there's Saints football, Brandon's there.
I dibble and dabble. Yeah, definitely go on to the Saints Fan TV on the TikTok. I'm thinking of ways for next season to really promote that, and there's a few ideas in my head, so we'll see how that pans out.
Brandon, there is a YouTube and TikTok page out there that would probably pay you a handsome sum of money for that handle, mate. Remember that?
Yeah.
We had that nice and early, Brandon, didn't we? Yeah.
There is someone out there that would probably chuck you a few grand for that handle if their channel keeps growing. So remember that.
Yeah. We know that. We've got it.
A little payout one day. Right, guys, it's been a pleasure. Good morning, Saints fans. Has come to an end. Enjoy your weekend. And we'll look forward to seeing you at Wembley tomorrow. Thank you.
If you see any of us tomorrow, guys.
Yeah.
If anyone sees me tomorrow kicking around and sees Martin, don't be shy. Come and say hello. We'll make videos. We'll have conversations. We'll take pictures, whatever you want. Then we'll get amongst it and enjoy it. It's going to be a great experience. Enjoy it.
Enjoy it. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Cheers.